A happy Sunday, folks. I hope you've been enjoying your day here so far today. And I know we've seen some great improvement on the roads. Hopefully you're able to get out and maybe get any errands done as we got postponed. I got to turn down my Facebook here, but as we got some of those errands postponed on Saturday. The roads looked all clear, as you can see with that Bridgepoint camera there. We're starting to see a whole lot of relief here throughout the area on the road. So that's some good news. Well, the not so good news is we are tracking another round of maybe some accumulating snow here throughout the area. Good news with that bad news, right? There's a whole lot of good, bad, we're talking about here. The good news with the bad, it's not as much, not nearly as much. I don't want anyone to think we're talking about maybe another Snowmageddon type event here, right? No, we're just talking about some typical accumulation we would expect at this time of year. That's why we do have another weather impact alert in place. So let's walk you through the forecast. We'll walk you through the data. I'll kind of show you a couple model runs here of what we're looking at for tomorrow. And then we'll answer any questions you guys may have. I know we're live on Facebook. You can ask those questions in the chat on Facebook there, or you can text them to us at 309-304-0888. And always, if you're watching this afterwards, maybe just message me on Facebook or comment there, and I'll make sure I can try and get to all those questions you may have as well. First of all, I want to start with just some updates on yesterday. Some good snowfall totals. This is kind of a wide range of numbers we saw. For example, Biggsville only saw 5.3. Same with New Windsor, only right around 7.5. Many of our hometowns, though, pretty much at least 8 inches across the board. Many of us here in the Metro saw reports over the 11 to maybe even 12+ inch mark in some isolated areas. So overall, we were pretty consistent with that forecast we gave you, right around that 8 to 14 inch mark. And some localized areas were nearing those higher end totals, but across the board, a real big snowfall that we typically don't see this early in the year. Outside right now, again, pretty quiet conditions. Good news is those roads are continuing to improve, but the temperature is definitely cold. 23 degrees is that temperature here. Feels like 15 degrees, a little bit of a breeze there for sure. Feels like temperatures across the board. Definitely a little bit chilly. I'm a little surprised at that number at Clinton at exactly 0. I'd be a little bit surprised if it was like that. I'd say you're probably closer to DeWitt, right around 7 degrees for that wind chill. We're starting to build up the clouds here that are coming with this system. We can zoom it out just a little bit, and you can see further off to our west, it's going to be an upper level low, almost, or a weaker disturbance. I'd say right around, give or take, 5,000 to 10,000 feet in the atmosphere. That's going to be driving this system, but that's going to make its way here to our south. That's kind of the path of this low, heading to our south, then further to the north and east. So we're going to be on the kind of further end of this system. That's why, again, we aren't seeing those significant totals, and there's also not as much moisture here with this system that's going to be, say, causing a big snow like we saw Saturday. So good news there, and winds aren't too bad either. It's going to be very light, fluffy snow here with this system because of the temperatures we're seeing. Let's walk you through the timing of arrival of this snowfall here. 9 to 11 a.m. for our further south hometowns, our friends like in Burlington, Mount Pleasant, our friends out in Galesburg there as well. Obviously, Monmouth, Roseville, Oquaco, Wapello. That's kind of where we're looking at, maybe that 9 to 11 at the latest time frame here with this system. As we kind of look at that alert, though, it's going to be tomorrow from 9 a.m. to midnight, right? Once we start that snowfall. And then continuing through midnight, we might see some travel impacts, accumulating snow really during the evening commute. That's kind of our big concern here. I'll show you some data why, even though these totals aren't as high, we actually are a little bit even maybe potentially almost more concerned in terms of accidents here with this. So watch for any delays, especially further to the south, the Highway 34 corridor. And then also just take caution when you're driving in these types of situations. When it comes to alerts, only a winter weather advisory, obviously still an advisory, but it's not like the winter storm watch we saw here on Saturday. Winter weather advisory starting at 9 a.m. for our friends in Louisa, Des Moines, and Henry County, Iowa. The rest of us starting at noon here tomorrow for this advisory, continuing through midnight. You'll notice kind of a cutoff right there from Sterling down towards Eldridge, Whiteside County and Scott County on the Iowa side of the river there. So that's kind of where we're seeing the boundary of this winter weather advisory. If the system shifts a little bit further north, maybe could expand into Clinton County and Carroll County, but as of right now, data is pretty consistent on keeping it further to the south, at least for maybe meeting that criteria for that advisory. Here's your probability of seeing 2+ inches of snow. Again, much lower than what we saw here on Saturday in terms of snowfall totals that we're going to be looking at. So again, think further to the south, again, right around that Highway 34 corridor, right around a 50-60% chance of maybe seeing 2+ inches of snow. That's why your range is right around maybe that 2 to 4 inch of snowfall, maybe 1.5 at the very low end. And as you climb further to the north, you can see those totals start to dissipate just a little bit there. Further to the north, I think maybe only right around 1 inch of snowfall is what we're looking at here. As we get towards right around 1 o'clock, you'll notice that's when we're going to maybe start to get some activity, but it's more so in the afternoon and in the evening as we get into that commute. Here we are by right around 6 p.m., give or take total, starting to reach that 2 inch mark here in the Quad Cities. Further to the south, that's where we could see maybe the 2+ inch mark in terms of snowfalls. And this is that data I wanted to tell you about. Well, I know we just had the big snow, but we issued another weather impact alert. Well, why? Because of this. Nearly 3/4 of all snow-related accidents occur at a trace to 2 inch amount of snow. Again, I'll read that again. Nearly 3/4, 74.2% of all snow-related accidents occur between trace to 2 inch totals of snowfall on the ground. That's pretty much exactly what we were looking at there, right, as we enter that evening commute tomorrow, especially here in the metro and areas right along Interstate 80. So that's why we're kind of emphasizing the impact here is, yeah, well, it's not a big crazy snow like we saw on Saturday, but it is going to be bringing potential for maybe an actual higher accident rate. So that's why we're kind of really focusing on that impact alert here. By the time it's all said and done, again, I think give or take 2 to 4 inches further to the south, Highway 34, Burlington, and a line towards Galesburg, up towards maybe Kewaunee, Princeton, Peru area, Knox County, Warren, Henderson County, as well into portions maybe of Henry County on the Illinois side of the river and Bureau County. Right along, say, that I-80 corridor, that's not including Princeton and Bureau County. I think maybe that 1 to 3 inch mark, give or take, is what we could be looking at here. Then right as we get to our further north counties, Joe Davies, you got Jackson, portions of Carroll County and Clinton County there as well. I think that's where more so maybe 1 inch, give or take, maybe up towards 2 inches, maybe a little bit less of that 1 inch mark, give or take. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of snowfall totals here. So again, good news is with this as well, it's that light fluffy snow, because the temperatures we're looking at daytime highs are only right around 27 degrees. So less moisture, colder temperatures, fluffier snow. That's for sure what we're going to be looking at here as we continue through the day Monday. Again, I told you right around 9 to 11 for that yellow coded area. That's exactly what you're looking at here on our in-house model by right around 1 o'clock, where we're going to start to see the more accumulating type snowfall. I think by that bluish area, again, right along that line from, say, Tipton into portions maybe near Clinton, Princeton, Peru, Geneseo, Kewaunee, Muscatine, Mercer County, Aledo, our friends there, Eldridge, DeWitt. Then as we get towards the afternoon, by right around 3 p.m., most everyone should start to see some of that snowfall. Notice the coloring here. It's not as very vibrant, almost you could say, or bright as what we saw on Saturday. Moderate snowfall at the best, and you can see right where we told you maybe where we might see that 2 to 4 inch total is where we're seeing that brighter blue. You can kind of see there, for example, right over Princeton. That's where we're expecting that more moderate band of snowfall to go through. Then as we get towards 5, 6, some of us should start to clear. And the reason I'm saying 8 to 10 on the range is because this is just one version of the model. Right now, that's what I'm showing you here. This is our in-house model, but we can pull up the rapid refresh model. That's a rather short-term model. And that kind of pushes the timing back just a little bit more than our in-house model. So let me pull that up here for you guys, and then we can also maybe go through snowfall totals on the different models as well. So let's kind of run this, close this out, and then we'll get back started here for you with the rapid refresh model of the situation that could be playing out here tomorrow. Let's go back, and here we go. Now let's pull it up. Sorry, I had to just update that data there for you guys. But let's walk through future track here. Now, again, overnight, the clouds, those aren't going away. Good news is we actually like the clouds at this time of year because it helps insulate any radiation trying to escape back into the atmosphere, which keeps our overnight temperatures a little bit warmer. Let's walk you through again your Monday morning as this pulls through. Notice this delays the timing a little bit. The rapid refresh model closer towards ready to be right around 1 o'clock in the latest run. I'm still thinking kind of house model has been pretty accurate here with this system so far, so I'm going to run with that. But this kind of portrays why I'm delaying that exit time frame for the snowfall on your Monday, clearing out closer to maybe that 10 o'clock time frame at the latest with those lingering little flurries and showers we may see out of this as we get toward your Monday evening. Then what's going to follow is a big push of cold air. These are overnight low temperatures you're looking at. We don't like to see that color pink. Well, guess what? As we get towards your Thursday, we're going to get an even brighter color pink. That brighter color pink maybe indicates single digits or below that. Maybe some negatives in terms of overnight temperatures as we get into your Thursday morning. Tonight, not so much the case. 15 degrees at overnight low. Again, tomorrow, highs right around the mid to upper 20s. colder temperatures means we're going to probably see that fluffier, kind of lighter snow here with this system, and the system, again, not producing crazy snowfall totals. We'll skip through that because this is what I was using at the end of the 5:30 show for those two graphics there. But here's that 8th day. Those snow showers on Wednesday, it's almost like a flurry type. Most of us shouldn't get really any accumulation there on Wednesday, but that's what's going to follow is the rush of cold air as that cold front moves through. So 1 degree is my forecast low as we get overnight Wednesday into Thursday. Definitely some cold temperatures. We could be looking at another cold night Thursday into Friday as this kind of surge of Arctic air, and Arctic blast for sure makes its way towards the region. Definitely a wintry start here to meteorological winter. It's starting to feel almost at times maybe like we're in the bulk of it, right? But yeah, that's going to be a cold start here. We'll be watching for any wind chill potential for any significant drops there, maybe into the low single-digit negatives for feels like temperatures. If we do see any wind chill data there, that kind of piques our interest. We might be having another weather impact alert there. But first, we're just going to get you through this one here on your Monday. It's pretty much kind of the gist of the forecast here that we're looking at over the next few days. Again, tomorrow, good news is snowfall isn't as significant here in terms of totals, right? We're only maybe looking right around 4 inches at most further to the south along the Highway 34 corridor, and those totals decreasing the further north we get. Say for our friends in Carroll, Joe Davies, Jackson County, maybe around 1 inch. So nothing significant in terms of totals, but definitely road impacts and snow coming down during that evening commute. Wind gusts aren't going to be too big of a concern here, so that's also some good news there as well. Looks like we have some people in the chat here already. I know we got a lot of you guys watching. Let's see. Ron, I'm watching for my children's commute tomorrow morning. They should be good in the mornings. Especially if they're going to school and such. I think the start of the day is going to be A-okay, pretty dry there. It's more so the midday towards afternoon time frame where we can start to see some snow come down. And again, it's not significant totals. It's just the impact on maybe just the snow coming down and those light totals causing those slick spots on what's going to be a very cold road here. And also, again, maybe people thinking it's only 1 to 2 inches. That is a common case here. And maybe getting a little irresponsible with their winter weather driving. Always, whenever you're having any snowfall coming down, make sure you're taking it cautious out here with your driving habits, as you always should, but especially when you're seeing maybe some snowfall. Even if it's just 1 to 2 inches, you definitely obviously saw with the data there that that's actually when the most accidents occur here throughout the area. Linnell, we're still digging out up here in Elizabeth, waiting to be plowed. We definitely saw the same amount as Galena. Yeah, I'm not surprised really at all. Again, most everyone saw a pretty significant snowfall, right, on Saturday. Even if you only saw that 6, 7, 8 inch mark, that's still a large snowfall total for this time of year. What will Wednesday morning look like up here? Again, I think it's those lighter totals that we're looking at overall here with this system. Not coming on Wednesday, pardon me. So the lighter totals with the system coming on Wednesday, as in maybe 1/2 inch of snowfall at best, really, from any data I've seen. I think mostly just going to be snow showers and flurries that really don't make an impact in terms of accumulation here as we get into Wednesday. Paul just finally got dug out in Sterling. How's our winter snowfall compared to a normal snow year so far? So technically, winter hasn't started yet. It starts tomorrow in terms of snowfall totals, actually, so at least in terms of meteorological winter. That starts on December 1st and carries through February. So that's the time frame for winter snowfall. In terms of November snowfall, I think Andrew posted off the top of my head, maybe the 4th snowiest November day ever here in Moline. Just yesterday, I got to get the date on some more of our hometowns. We've been pretty busy here in the Storm Track 8 Center with just what we saw yesterday and now continuing into tomorrow. So got a whole lot going on. I think we'll have a good wrap up here once it's all kind of set and done and our pattern settles out a little bit more. Even though it's going to be cold, our pattern settles a little bit more. We have some more time to dig through some of that data and see if there is any other more fun facts and little tidbits we can get you on it. But definitely some good news is with this snow is that actually is going to help with our drought conditions. Andrew posted right around maybe 0.8 in terms of precipitable water that is going to melt out of the snow, and the ground is warm enough where it's going to suck it all up still and kind of absorb it. So that's some good news with this snowfall, is that's actually going to maybe help the ground and get in as much water as we can before it drops to those sub-freezing temperatures here. But we are definitely ahead of snowfall, that is for sure, if you're looking at an overall time frame, I guess, for what will be the snow season here. We're obviously off to a very hot start. But oh yeah, you're exactly right. Drivers being overconfident by the small amount. It's exactly kind of the situation we're looking at. That's kind of a big reason why we put this out, right? Obviously there's some higher totals further to the south, not compared to Saturday, but in general, yeah, maybe 2 to 4 inches. But it's just the travel impact is definitely something we're looking at. Again, 74.2% of all accidents happen pretty much right around the range that we could be looking at here in terms of snowfall totals with snow-related accidents. Let's see, any other, will it be windy again as of right now? No, most likely we are not looking at any winds here. Maybe 10-mile-per-hour little breezy conditions, but you're not going to be seeing something like we saw on Saturday from what I've seen in terms of winds. Wind gusts aren't looking too strong. I think winds I saw only maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour overall. We can walk you through that with our future track wind gusts here, and let's kind of walk you through Monday. You'll notice, yeah, even as the system comes through, not a whole lot going on. Wind speeds maybe 5 to 10 miles per hour at best. Not a whole lot with this, which is especially great since this is this light, fluffy snow. We aren't going to be talking about any major winds or blowing snow here with this. If you're in Sterling, yeah, that's a great opportunity for Scott there. Yeah, if you maybe need some help, obviously reach out to friends, family, or anyone. If you need help maybe getting out and you're still kind of stuck in there with the ground. It's going to miss where I live. Barb, if you could tell me where you live, I think you might still get something, especially even if you're further to the north. You're still going to get some snowfall, maybe a half inch at the very least further to the north. Data suggesting, give or take, again, our northern counties, say, for example, Jackson, Joe Davies, we got Carroll and Clinton. Northern fringe of Clinton really maybe right around that 1 inch mark. And then as you get further towards almost the middle third here of the viewing area, that's where you're looking at 1 to 3. Further to the south, Highway 34 up towards Princeton, Peru, Bureau County, that's where you're looking at maybe 2 to 4 inches here with this system. Vicky, future warm-up. Don't know about that. And also, what do you mean by warm-up there? Right, that's kind of the thing you got to say. I'll pull up the 14-day tracker here for you, and does it really get that much better? Maybe one day trending above freezing there. Overall, this cold trend, it's set to continue here for a little bit. I haven't seen really any data that looks otherwise. What I can actually do here is let me walk back here. I can grab my forecast sheet for you guys. I always love to reference this for you guys. Ensemble data, really most every single day, the warmest ensemble or any kind of raw data that I'm seeing is maybe 35, 36 degrees on that Wednesday that I have there with the 35, and then maybe some 34, 36 days Thursday and Friday, but those I think are oddballs compared to the rest of the data that we're looking at. I know it's an extended forecast, so these are just trends that we look at, but when one number kind of doesn't stick with the rest of the trend, at least as of right now, that's kind of why we're sticking with those lower numbers in the extended forecast right there. So overall, I would say probably a pretty chilly stretch is going to be ahead of us. I know people were talking about 2018. I was actually talking about it, James and I, here yesterday while we were walking you guys through those streams and tracking the snowfall, that he says it's starting to remind him a little bit of 2018. Once this all settles down, this pattern, maybe especially in the next weekend, we can try and look into some data compositions for maybe, or data comparisons here for, well, how is this actually going to play out? Because if we look at 2018, it's starting to sound a little bit similar there in terms of these snowfall totals. So that's something we're definitely going to be looking at. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see, what was the next question? Sorry. Abingdon. Abingdon, I'd say you guys are kind of right around maybe that 2 to 4 inch mark, I think, out there in Henderson County. Let me pull this up. My little snowfall tracker by the time it's all south. Let's see. Or by the time it's all set and done here. Here we are right around midnight on Tuesday. I think that's when we're going to be wrapping all this up. And you can see right around that 2 to 4 inch mark for all of our really southern counties here, starting with Des Moines, Iowa, kind of in that line upwards again into Warren, Henderson, Knox, Stark, into portions of Bureau County as well. And kind of right along that line of the southern portions there of Henry County is kind of where we're expecting maybe these totals to pick up just a little bit more. But again, this is nothing significant, right? Like what we saw on Saturday, add maybe 5 to 10 inches, and that's what we were talking about on Saturday. So a big difference here in terms of snowfall accumulations. That's the good news here with this. Just, again, the travel impacts and the timing is what we're really concerned here with this weather impact alert. How much in East Moline looking at and around what time? We can walk you guys through the time frame again here on our in-house model. The rapid refresh is pushing this back just a little bit in terms of timing, so keep that in mind. That's why we kind of gave you the estimate timing of right around maybe 9 to 11 further to the south, and then right around the metro quad cities, that region right around, I'd say, 11 to 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, and then further to the north, further to the east, right around 2-3. This is our in-house model. Here's this is the rapid refresh, pardon me. Let me switch this back to the in-house. I forgot to make that change back for you guys, but still a good idea of, again, a little bit later timing that we're looking in at here with the rapid refresh model. That's one of our other two. And that pushes it closer to maybe, again, that 1 o'clock back end time frame. But as we look at our in-house model, it's going to push it a little bit sooner here. We'll get new data coming in about 45 minutes to an hour here that we'll have for you guys at News 8 at 10 tonight. Here's the house model. You can see that timing a little bit different there. But overall, East Moline, I think 11 to 1 o'clock, and then most everyone clearing by around 8 to 10 tomorrow night. The area should be clear of any snowfall, but some lingering travel impacts is why we have this going until midnight here tomorrow. How is the data looking for any polar vortex this winter? It's a weak polar vortex for sure right now. I mean, obviously we had that surge of cold air just a little bit ago, and then as we get towards right around Thursday, another surge of cold air, and if it remains pretty weak here, could be in for a long winter, that is for sure. Again, I'm wondering if this is going to maybe look similar to 2018. Obviously, I got to dig into more data, but kind of similar signs that we're seeing here in terms of data so far comparing to that year. But we have had a couple surges of some polar Arctic air, that's for sure. It's that Siberian air that really gets you. We're having another one coming here on Thursday. And the extended forecast even keeps us pretty chilly here, below average. Our average high this time of year, right around give or take 40 degrees. So well below average here for the first start of December. Let's see. Linnell, this might be a little bit too far back, but I remember a very bad snowfall in November of 1985. I will have to check on that one and figure out that date there and when that happened. Off the top of my head, I don't know that one for sure for you, but if I can look into that, that might be some interesting comparisons to look at as well, and kind of what was set to follow after that. Again, there's so many little pieces of data, right, when you're trying to put together a winter weather forecast. There's so many things that go into it for like an overall outlook at winter that it takes a lot of time to kind of dig through all of that. Abraham, can they cancel school tomorrow? I haven't seen anything just yet. If we do start getting those emails in, we'll let you know. Again, these snowfall totals aren't something crazy to per se cancel school, but it's something that causes the impact on any driving conditions here, right? And maybe people who see, oh, it's lighter total, it'll be okay. Maybe sometimes aren't as responsible as they should be with these conditions. But we will keep you guys updated if there are any cancellations, definitely on GMQC tomorrow. If there is, we will have that little bug running on the bottom of the screen there, and if there's anything that does pop up by 10 p.m., we'll get those out for you guys here as well later tonight. Any possible snow later in the week? We are looking at maybe some little flurries almost as we get towards Wednesday. I can pull this out. I can do some, that's what I love about this stream. I can kind of just toy around with our data here and our future tracks and extend them out for you guys and show you what we're looking at here. We'll go through Wednesday at 12 a.m. Let me switch the model here, and we'll pull up that Wednesday potential that we're looking at. Let's go with the European. I think the European's been pretty consistent. Yeah, here's the European time frame on this. Again, it turns a little bit later. That's why I'm keeping that time frame 8 to 10. But we'll drag this all the way out until your Wednesday. Look in that top right-hand corner there for you for Wednesday time frame. You'll notice, 12 a.m. I should have put Thursday at 12 a.m. Pardon me. Sometimes I just have a little brain blip every once in a while. Here we are on Wednesday, but that's just flurry activity. I don't think anything significant coming from that. You can see that very light blue for most everyone here. Just flurries and maybe a little snow shower for some of our hometowns. Looking at the ensemble data and any terms of raw accumulation data, nothing really significant there. Just flurries here. It's almost like a little quick moving clipper and not a whole lot really is expected with that as we get into Wednesday. We can show you the GFS and show you that. I mean, again, these are two different models that we're looking at here. The GFS really kind of doesn't bring a whole lot to our area at all as we get into Wednesday. So that's, again, there's inconsistencies with the data. There's not a whole lot in terms of really snowfall accumulation with that. So that's why we're not super concerned with Wednesday as of right now. But it's along that cold front, it's the cold air that's going to follow it that are really going to kind of get you off guard. Talking about maybe negative overnight temperatures. If those winds pick up, we could be talking about those frigid wind chills a little bit early here in this season. So if those scenarios do play out, we'll keep you guys updated on that later in the week. As of right now, don't have any alerts out, but if something does happen, we will keep you updated on that for sure, and maybe of another weather impact alert. I know it's a very busy start here to the winter season. It's kind of gone 0 to 100 real fast as we've gotten into the winter condition. These wintry conditions. Totals for Galena tomorrow, I would say right around 1 inch, further to the north, give or take. Now I'll pull up our future track snowfall here, and we'll go bang, show you by the end of it. I think give or take 1 inch is usually the thought. Further to the north here, you can see, I'll move this up for you, up in the Galena area, kind of similar to Dubuque in terms of those totals, 1 inch, give or take. It's all going to depend on the snow ratio with this. That's where we're seeing a little bit higher totals than maybe what the raw data is showing us because of these colder temperatures that we're seeing. So that's why even though there's limited moisture, the cold temperatures are maybe going to help get those totals a little bit higher. It will be that light fluffy snow, again, 1 inch further to the north. As you head in kind of to that blue, darker blue band area, that's where I'm thinking maybe 1 to 3 inches, and then further to the south, the purple area, as I've kind of been discussing, Highway 34, then that line towards Bureau County at 2 to 4 inch range. So it looks, your husband plowed all weekend. That's good news. I was going to say, I bet our plow drivers were all very happy with the scenario. I know they didn't have a whole lot to do last year, and a huge thank you to them as well. I mean, they did a ton this weekend. I know they were very busy in our roads. We can pull up the road conditions for you. Why not give you an update on that? Because they're looking so much better here throughout a large portion of the area. Again, those neighborhood streets, yes, of course, you'll still see them, but right outside the station here, I already saw them starting to work on those neighborhood streets here earlier today. So that's some very good news. I-74 bridge is looking fantastic right now. And some slick spots here there. Can't rule those out for sure, but overall, it's a whole lot of green compared to pretty much all pink that we saw here yesterday in terms of covered roads. So very good news there. I think that's kind of all I got for you guys. I'm looking at these questions here right now. Maybe some 50% coverage. As of right now, would kind of be my guess here for tomorrow. Again, it's that light fluffy snow. It'll get blown around by the cars real easy driving over it, but it's just the driving safety impacts on it, right? Some slick spots with it. That's for sure what we're looking at as we get towards tomorrow. That's why we have the weather impact alert. Again, 74.2% of accidents happen in snow total ranges that we actually could be looking at here tomorrow. That's why we have this weather impact alert in place. So I think that's all we got. Any questions? Again, just let me know on Facebook. I bet we'll probably have some more streams going tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we get those going on. But if not, just send me a message if you missed the stream here. Again, we'll be back at News 8 at 10 tonight with some new data that comes in give or take 45 minutes here or so. So I'll have any updates for you then. And then obviously Andrew will take care of you during GMQC tomorrow. And James will be here tomorrow evening to make sure you're all taken care of there. Thank you so much for joining this stream. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday night. And talk to you guys later in just about an hour and a half here on News 8 at 10.